When it comes to men's grooming, probably the number one question that is asked amongst all guys is, how do I grow a beard? And while there are a lot of advice out there that I would highly recommend that you guys go and check out and follow, there are some advice that I have heard from guys that are very questionable, to say the least. So today I'm going to be going over a few of those tips and let you guys know some of the worst advice I've ever heard about growing a beard coming up. Welcome to HC Fashion, where we give you tips and advice from its fashion, grooming, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Zach Foss, and today we're going over the 5 worst advice I've heard about growing a beard, starting with number 1, and that's never shaving or trimming your beard as it grows. A lot of guys seem to think that while you're growing a beard, you should be nowhere near a pair of clippers or a razor blade whatsoever, which is completely false. Number 1, because neck beards are disgusting, something I want all of you guys to avoid. And ladies do not find that attractive whatsoever. Unless you have like a super long beard that you can hide that with, I would highly recommend against that. While I do agree that you should be not messing, with your beard too much as it's growing, you should be able to find a fine line between shaving it down unnecessarily and keeping it well tamed. Well, let me explain. When it comes to the actual, lining and the actual boundaries of your beard, you should find the fine lines where it actually helps your face build some structure and some symmetry to it. And at the same time, when it comes to the actual fullness or the thickness of the beard, you should be trimming it in a way to where it's growing out evenly. Meaning if one side is growing faster than the other, which is the case for most guys, then you need to make sure you identify that and groom accordingly to that. Make sure that it's all even, so that way as it's growing, it could be, at the end of the day, it could be a well-tamed and well-maintained beard without you really putting that much effort into it. Number 2, going all natural. It seems like a lot of beard snobs, which is what I like to call a lot of guys who, have those big giant Duck Dynasty beards, try to talk down on guys like us who are struggling to grow beards. They seem to think that going all natural is the way to go, which for a lot of guys it works for them, but I know for us in general, we might need a little help, So I wouldn't recommend just doing absolutely nothing for your beard. Even if you have a 5 o'clock shadow going, there's still some things that you can do by having a daily grooming routine, and eventually when that hair gets a little bit thicker, you can start applying some beard wash, some beard oil, some beard butter, whatever your beard needs to help it out grow fuller and healthier. Sometimes you might need a little push, a little help here and there. And if you're not convinced that you don't need to have that sort of maintenance on your beard, let me ask you this. Would you let your face and your hair do what it needs to do without any sort of help at all? I didn't think so. Number 3, shave more often. Have you ever had a guy tell you that the more that you shave, the more fuller and thicker that your beard will appear? Well, this is actually kind of true, but at the end of the day, it's not going to help you grow a beard. It's going to actually do the opposite. But what this does, whenever you do shave, it actually does kind of cut the hair follicle short, and whenever we are growing out our hairs, it's at a point sort of, and whenever we do grow it out, it stops it right in the middle of the strand where the hair follicle is the most thick. That way it makes the appearance that it makes your beard look a lot thicker. But what this does every time that you do shave in that certain area, it actually kills the bedding inside of the hair follicle, making it smaller and smaller and smaller, which is telling your body that maybe this isn't a place to really grow any hair. Therefore, it's going to cause a lot of balding and eventually no beard at all. The 4th mistake I see a lot of guys making is taking an excessive amount of supplements. Guys, I get it. Sometimes we might need a little help, but what I don't want you to do is to go online and buy just a ton of pills and protein shakes and a bunch of supplements and take them on a day-to-day basis, because at the end of the day, if you haven't really done your homework, you don't know what you're putting into your body that could be potentially damaging it. What I want you to do is just take a step back and actually just adjust your diet, what you eat on a day-to-day basis. Have some, some nuts, some fish, and maybe just some simple biotin that you can buy, off the counter at the grocery store, and do that every day instead of going to these very sketchy looking companies that can guarantee a beard growth which in fact could be actually damaging you. If you could just adjust your diet, have a good increase in vitamin B inside your diet, I guarantee you that this will be a better choice for you than just drugging yourself up every single day. Number 5, getting a transplant. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to do. It's your life, it's your body, you can do whatever you want, but as long as you're part of my community, I'm going to tell you not to do it. Just because that, number 1, getting a beard transplant is stupid expensive, and not only that, it's a very painful process. I think one of the better alternatives that you can do is just come to terms about what you have. If you're satisfied with it, if you could consider a beard and keep it, maintained, if it's going good with your style, then go for it. Even if you really can't, you're not really happy with it, then you might be better off going clean shaven. I know a lot of guys that are, going clean shaven, and honestly, they're one of the most handsome guys I've ever seen out there, and there's nothing wrong with it. If you can't grow a beard, it doesn't make you less manly. It doesn't mean that girls won't find you attractive. It just means that you weren't really built to have a beard, which is okay. And here's a little bonus tip for you guys before I leave today. Don't listen to the snobs. When I say snobs, I mean the people that have like this big lumberjack Duck Dynasty full sort of Gandalf the Grey sort of beard, and they talk down on guys like you and me about what we are growing, and they don't consider it a beard. For example, they don't consider the 5 o'clock shadow or a really thick stubble to be a beard. I've had a guy tell me multiple times that this beard that I'm rocking right now is not a beard, which I'm looking at him like going, what? But regardless, don't listen to them. I guarantee you, whatever you can rock, as long as it can provide some sort of structure, some sort of symmetry to your overall face, then yes, I would consider it a beard. So don't listen to them. If you guys like to keep it short, keep it short. If you like to grow it out long, keep it long. And honestly, if you feel like you need to educate guys on how to grow a beard, then I encourage you to make an instructional video that help guys out rather than talking them down. But that's it for me today, guys. If you liked today's video and you learned something from it, give this video a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and help us build the HB community. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'll see you next time.